Have you ever wanted to know the secret to going viral from some of the top creators in the space, such as Grant Cardone and so much more? Well, in this video, you have the privilege of learning from the brains in the actual agency behind creators like Grant Cardone and many influencers that you see every single day. We had the privilege of having Ryan Magin join in one of our group calls and drop absolute bombs on what it takes to go viral in today's day and age. So inside of agency, you do 7 group calls every single week to educate agencies, and oftentimes we bring on guests. And in this video, you get an inside look to what one of those group calls look like with a special guest. Guys, enjoy this video because it is a banger.
Yeah, so I mean, if nobody knows me, well, collectively, I have a personal brand and I run Viral Edits, which is what I believe is the first ever short form content agency. I started it right beginning of the pandemic when nobody really cared about TikTok. We got, I guess, famous because we started working with some really big clients very early on. Specifically, Grant Cardone was one of the first big ones we brought on. We still currently to this day work with Grant Cardone. We grew his account to 2 million followers on TikTok. Um, we worked with some people that are very big business titans. They have a big building in Las Vegas. You might have heard of them. We were responsible for blowing them up, and then we got silenced by NDAs. Then we worked with like Jordan and Michaela Peterson. We worked with some of the top podcasters. Currently, my short form agency does, it fluctuates. It does anywhere from 80 to $120,000 a month. It's been that way for the last 2 years. I've collectively grossed almost $3 million from the short form agency. My personal brand, which is growing pretty rapidly due to the clients we work with, which I'll give you guys some insights later. I started getting in videos with my clients and they started performing really well, and that blew up my personal brand. That generates anywhere from 10 to 20,000 a month pretty effortlessly. And to date, that's made about $500,000. So it's all of it's kind of happened in the last 2.5 to 3 years. My company Viral Edits, we do roughly 3 to 4,000 videos a month posted to the platforms. I have a team of 15, really big expenses, company per se. So you have all those problems. I can talk about that, hiring, firing, all of those problems that come with training editors. That's one of my biggest struggles is good editors. But yeah, that's kind of, and collectively I've got over 300 million views on all the platforms for myself. So I know a thing or two about going viral, as well as how to sell virality, how to manage virality, what it why you should do it, why you shouldn't do it, and just all things that come along with that. Plus, I've worked with. I feel like we have a lot of the biggest egos in the world that are on the client roster. So how to manage and deal with that on a day to day basis is quite a challenge, and they seem to really like me. So I can speak to that. But yeah, that's kind of like the elevator pitch, if you will. I've also been making money. Most people don't know much about me prior to TikTok. I've been making money on the internet through digital products and/or courses and affiliate marketing since I'm about to be 41 in June. I've been doing it since I was like 25 years old. I've been making money with before there was YouTube on the internet but TikTok, I saw a really big opportunity when kind of I felt like everybody else was kind of sleeping on it, and it just it worked. I took a big risk there, and I started selling TikTok services, short form editing, for 700. I think my first client was $750 a month. Um, her name was Adley Stump, or Adley Kinsman now. She's one of the most viral pranksters on Facebook. She got 1 million followers for like $4,000. We did it in 6 months. So it was definitely much easier back then than it is now. But we sell high ticket packages. My low tiered product is 6,000 a month retainer. My high tier is 10,000 a month. Um, so I can speak about that if you guys have questions about managing that. I don't know anybody else that's charging more than 10K a month, short form specific, at least for long term retainers. Most of those clients, my churn rate is very low due to I mean, we've worked with Grant for over 2 years. Most of my clients stay a year minimum. The only reason we only really lose clients based on the fact they bring it in house.
Mhm.
So I can speak to that because that is my only competition is an in-house editing team. Um, but in the recent 6 months, a lot of clients have come back and they're kind of plugging us into working with in-house teams too. So um, most of that is, yes, I have heard of Media Scaling. I'm friends with those guys. But they work with a lot of my clients, but they don't anymore, as far as I know. But Yeah, that's kind of my pitch, or it's kind of what I
Yeah.
do. I generally just love making videos though, and
Yeah.
but now I'm trying to grow on YouTube, but I suck at it. So
Yeah. Well, one thing that I always admired about you is like I feel like you have the mechanism to get views, whether that's like you're asking the right questions or you are editing in a specific way or whatever it is. And a lot of people on this call have clients with expectations of views or getting like this views could equate to clients in that space, whether I'm working with like a real estate agent or a local business or whatever it could be. Like what would you break down the mechanism of actually getting views?
yeah, I mean, when you're talking to clients, and especially because we essentially the expectation that comes with us is like virality. Like people hire us, they assume that we're going to make them go viral. And that is kind of I don't put that in the contract. I do have a contract, but the expectation is we work with Ryan, we're going to go viral. So and most of the people that we work with, I don't really, I guess, identify with the whole niche, like creating niche content. I used to. You see a big like videos about making videos, and that's how I started my TikTok. It wasn't until I branched out and Luis, who's worked with me since we started the company, he was like, I used to be really good at talking to women, and he's like, you should make some videos about how to like make friends. You're really good at making friends. And we're like, okay. So I made a video about making friends. And that video still today is one of my most viral videos. It had almost 5 million views. From that one single video, I gained like 60,000 followers. And this is early in the days of TikTok when that happened. That doesn't happen much anymore. But that was kind of a mindset shift for me that was like, oh, like short form as a platform allows you to kind of be a more complete person. I can make videos about making videos. I can make videos about making friends. I can make videos about my fiance, about my daughter, like, and it's okay because it's like it's my Instagram or it's my TikTok. It's just me. It's not like a business. And what started happening was the more views I started getting, the more clients wanted to get views, and I kind of knew that going in. That wasn't a surprise to me that that would happen because, I look at some of the biggest clients. I've been around some of the biggest brands and working with people that I knew that they needed, everybody wants attention. And like, even like we work with Cardone still, the conversation was never, how do I make money from this? It was, Ryan, I need everybody to see my face every day, over and over and over again, repeatedly. And once I started working with the bigger people, the conversations were, we just need attention. We'll find a way to make money from it. But then a lot of the clients that you guys talk to, the monetization isn't there for them yet. Like, so they're like, how do I make money from this content? Or how do I make money from this? And that to me was like a harsh separation that I had to really define myself. It's like, I don't want to work with people that don't know how to monetize the attention because one, they can't afford 10K a month, and that was where I wanted to go. And this is back when we were charging like 3 or 4. So that was like a mindset shift for me. That was like, I can make videos about whatever. But what we started seeing was I can make a video about making videos. And if those videos came after I'd recently gone viral, those videos got more views because of the pool of people. Like when you reach 1 million people, I mean, you guys are familiar with making videos, like watch time's everything. So, if you get 1 million views, roughly 50% of those people watch the video start to finish. So of those people that watch it start to finish, that's 500,000 people. Of 500,000 people, I make a video about making videos or lighting, then they're going to show it to those 500,000 people because they just watched one of my videos. And there's a bigger pool of people to choose from than if I just made a video about lighting. I let the algorithm kind of do the work. And that was kind of, and to me, it's like you guys are familiar with running ads, like it's free retargeting. So like all the virality videos just retarget and pixel the world. And then I let the algorithm do the work and put my videos where they're supposed to go. And we started seeing that at scale working with like the bigger clients, when like Ryan Pineda would make a real estate video, it would get more views because his video about flipping couches got 10 million views. So that was kind of the hypothesis of like, and I still tend to believe in that because, accounts only grow when there's views and attention on them. I don't really believe in like you can get the wrong followers because everybody I know that has the most followers makes the most money. And they're not complaining about I have the wrong or right followers. Like they're just like, I need all the followers. So I guess it was like my mindset shifted pretty fast with like working with like, the Cardones and the Pinedas and like, because they just wanted the most attention they could get. And they're like, I will figure out the money factor later. So let's put me everywhere. I do think, I get, because of the internet and the nature of like division, which I do believe, if you guys are trying to get views, you have to be very divisive in your content. You have to have a hard opinion. Like my opinion is that, views matter. and niche content sucks. Like, I say that to get attention, but that doesn't mean that like when I'm working with a client, it's like, okay, we have 60 videos, we're posting 2 videos a day. Of those 60, 20 of those should be around what you're actually trying to make money from. Let's do the other, 60 videos or 80 videos, and let's get you the most attention possible. Because for most people, the niche videos, you don't have that many. Like there's like a limited, even like the major viral stuff, like creativity is kind of capped to a degree for one person to the next. Like somebody like a Cardone films a lot better than maybe, like, I mean, somebody mentioned Nate Barger. He's one of our clients. Cardone films better than Nate Barger. I can get more videos out of Cardone than I can Nate in the same time frame. So Nate's going to tap out faster than Cardone will, so it's like, and that's just pure reps. So it's, you start seeing these things, and that's where like a lot of our philosophies that come from is like, how do we maximize the virality? Because you may only have, we roughly go viral every day in my company, so which statistically that's very small. Like I know we're considered fucking amazing at what we do, but like we're posting like 3,500 videos on average month, and we only go viral like 40 times. That is like a very small percentage, but it's at a bigger scale, and so things like that, it's like, that's why when you go viral, it used to be you'd see for every million views, roughly 10,000 followers. Now you're lucky to see 1,000 followers for every million views. So now it's getting, and now people aren't even following. Like a lot of you guys, I mean, you're just scrolling, you're just seeing content. So views become more and more important because, well, what do we do if nobody follows you? Like we have to keep putting your content in front of them. Views are, so that's where like I don't really understand where people, they go hard on like, I make content that converts, or this is that. And while all of it's important, it's just like, okay, but the reality is I'd rather have 1 million people see my shit than 500.
No. So how do we get 1 million people to see our stuff? Like, how do we, like, what is the, like, is it the hook? Is it the editing? Is it the After Effects that we're adding in the editing? Is it the camera setup?
Number one is the topic. Does the topic have the ability to reach 1 million people? Like if you look at any video for anybody that's on your For You page, if it has 1 million views, it's generally based around health, wealth, relationships, finance, cars, money. Like, so you have to have the generalized topics to get the views. And then the secondary thing, which is equally as important as the topic, is how much conviction do you have when you say that video? Because again, if you look at all the videos that are going viral, I guarantee you, it might not be an incredible hook, but that hook was said with absolute 100% certainty. Like you look at like somebody like Andy Elliott, like who goes viral a lot because he's like, I don't hire fat people. You're not going to tell him he's wrong. Like the conviction and his tonality, it's triggering. And there's always some level of like, that's what we've seen. Like all the viral videos are a sea of negative comments. Like there's never like, I don't live in a world where positive comments exist. Like when a video goes viral, it's pure hate. And I know that if it's getting hate immediately, we're getting views. And with that hate, because the other 50%, they don't comment. They just like your stuff. And they'll see you at an event, shake your hand and say, I like your videos. Or I come on a call here and they're like, man, I like your videos. Like they're not commenting, So it's, understanding that as well. So it's like when you have a topic that has a broad general reach, you have somebody who has a very strong opinion about that. An example of this would be, everybody should save money. It's like, okay, save $10,000 or else you're poor. That's a controversial take. Like Brandon Carter, we work with King Keto. He's like, you need 5 bank accounts. Well, everybody has 1 bank account. Why do we need 5? The videos about bank accounts. Everybody has a bank account. Everybody has a wallet. You need 1 designer bag. Specifically this one by this brand, it costs you this much. Here's why you need it. So it's like it's like taking the information that people have and it's like, okay, I need a definitive yes or no here. Like I use an avocado example a lot. It's like I fucking love avocados. They're the greatest thing ever. Like I fucking hate avocados. Like you can't be like, well, I like avocados on my salad every once in a while. I get it at Chipotle on my burrito. So it's like having that like, and that's really like the secret sauce. Like, and that's most people like. Does editing matter? To a degree, like because you need to I don't think After Effects. I don't think I'm very attached to the subtitle style that we created with my team, but it's becoming less and less effective what's more important is a good editor that can structure a clip well.
Mhm.
Like, you could take no subtitles, you could put amazing After Effects motion graphics, and the video is still going to be a turd. Like, if it's structured wrong, and that's just something that we started, and that's what led us to filming in person with the clients, because we started seeing that when we were clipping them, we couldn't predictably make viral videos, which I knew I needed to have the viral videos because of the price that I was charging. So we started flying to clients and we started forcing the virality to happen. And that was the forcing it was, I need you to say this a little stronger. Like, do you really believe this? I don't really feel like you believe this.
Mhm.
And that's like, if you watch me ask questions, I do a lot of street interviews. I like, if you saw the raw file, like you know, take a second and then I just bark something out, like, should I own my house?
Mhm.
It's like, that's because every time I speak, it's a hook.
Mhm.
And I'm not thinking specifically like I need to make this captivating somebody. It's just like I'm just trying to say it aggressively. And then
Interesting.
when we're working with clients, the same thing. It's like, hey, can you say that again? Just with a little, like, pretend your wife's mad at you, like, or like, I'm not convinced. And we call it, like, we made a few frameworks. One's like, we call it the annoying kid framework. So it's like, if you ever talk to like a little nephew or kid, it's just like, why, why, why?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't believe you. Like, that's cap. That's cap.
Mhm.
You're an idiot. I don't try. Prove it to me. Like, oh, you say you got 1 billion views? Prove it. I want to see it. So like, and that's another thing too. It's like every time somebody says something, like, you have to be thinking in your head. And this, when I think of editing, this is what I think. It's like every time a sentence is said, the next sentence has to validate what was just said. So
Mhm.
it's like, you can't say, like, and I'm very, we probably take it to a degree that might be slightly over the top. But like, if I say an income claim, I know nobody's going to believe me. So then I put my Stripe screenshot. Yes, I could Photoshop that, but the likelihood that I'm going to do that is probably low. And everybody's seen a Stripe screenshot, so they'll probably trust me. And it's like, but then it's like, oh, I worked with Grant Cardone. It's like, well, no, unless I have a picture with Grant Cardone or raw footage of me filming with Grant Cardone, nobody believes me. Like, the internet, I mean, and everybody on this call, like, everybody's super skeptical. Like, everybody's being lied to. You don't know who to trust. And that's like, when you get a strong opinion about a broad topic and proof of something that actually works that is said, you get 1 million views. And it's
Yeah.
like, and they're not like ever, it's like, we take a lot of swings at bat too. Like, I don't want people, like, that's why we started, like, we can talk about this. I can show some examples, like the split testing of hooks. Like, we used to film 5 hooks for every one video, and then we would post all 5 hooks. We've since kind of stopped that because it does look a little spammy on the accounts and clients. This is also, I personally don't care with the way the account looks, but the clients tend to care about their image. And they're like, Ryan, these videos have no views and these videos have high views. I said, yeah, that was a successful split test.
Mhm.
Like, and they're like, well, let's delete the other ones. I was like, well, let's not do that, because what if in a month that one pops off? So it's like, we have to work within the confines of, but that, with each client. But that was like the nature of, like, okay, if I'm flying to a client, I have to get, we know that most of our clients, we do 2 videos a day, just so you guys know. Like, the package, it's 6K a month, 2 videos a day, or 10K a month. It's up to 6 videos a day on the 10K package. But that's like 2 videos a day with alternate variations. It's not 6 brand new edits every single day. Because and this is also where editing does play a role, because we tend to keep it simple because you can't scale the motion effects, the After Effects. Like, although I think it's dope, I love that stuff. Like, I'm a big fan of very cool edits. But right now we have my team of editors. They're so optimized to do 5 videos a day, 5 days a week. If the video takes them longer than an hour and a half, they're too slow. We don't hit our quotas. Like, that means I breach contract. That means clients are mad at me. So I've had to kind of take a step back and also, like, okay, how do, like, when it truly comes to going viral, I can't rely on the editing. Like, I can only rely on the actual content of what's being said. But even that, I put a massive constraint and handcuffs on myself, because I have not been able to train, like, myself and Luis, he's in a lot of my content with me. Like, we're the ones that have been going to clients, and we've been doing it for 2.5 years. Like, we're burnt out. Like, I can't train somebody else to think like me, only because we've just, I was sharing, with you, Austin, like, on an average month, we film 1,000 videos. Like, nobody can beat that rep count, you know? So that's like the whole point of, like, that's why I have a studio now. That's why we're doing in-person workshops. Like, it's partially because it's like, I want more people to get better at going viral. So I can go, hey, Austin, I got a client, and I'll pay you $1,000 if you want to go film 100 videos for this guy. because
Yeah.
I know I'm going to get good shit and then I don't have to travel.
Yeah.
You know, but it really comes out. I know it was like a long drawn out, but that was like the evolution of like, we focus on like the meat of the video, which is like not only the person saying it, but like how it's being said. And we spend more time on like, I don't really like how that came out, or like, you know, Luis is really good at this with me. He's like, dude, you're gonna get made. You said that like an asshole. Like, can you say it a little softer, because TikTok's gonna hate you for that, unless it's like that's the vibe that we're going for. It's like, you know, like an Andy Elliott doesn't want to be appeared soft. Like some things I say, I could see like, yo, this guy's a dick. Like I don't really want to be portrayed like that, you know. But I know if I say it like a dick, it's gonna get 100 comments and it's probably gonna get 200,000 views.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so and that's so, and it's also like speaking ability too. Like I've seen many people like go viral, and certain people go viral a lot. But if you break down, like you look at like a Hermosa, you look at a Cardone, you look at Jordan Peterson, it always comes down to conviction and tonality.
It's good.
How they're saying something at the camera. It's not like, you know, you can put fancy editing on it. You can put, you know, you can put me in the room, you can put you in the room, but like if they spit it out, it's going to go viral. Like
Yeah.
Brandon Carter is really, really good at this. He's probably one of the slowest filmers that we have on the client roster, which is frustrating because we usually hit like a quarter of what we should hit every time we go. He like paces for like 5 minutes per video, sits down in his chair, and then spits out perfection. I mean, I don't expect, like, I can't go down the street to the loan officer and expect that to happen, you know? So it's like, you know, but when you are guys, when you are explaining views and virality to like regular people per se, it's like all they want is like that to translate into more money. And you can always use the term, it's like, you know, who do you follow on the internet? Like, it's my number one close. It's like, who do you follow on the internet? Oh, do you follow Gary Vee? Cool. Does he make niche videos? No. Do you follow Alex Hormozy? Does he make niche videos? I'm like, well, his niche is business. It's a pretty big niche. Like, do you follow Grant Cardone? Does he have a niche? Well, real estate. Yeah, America needs a house. Like, so when you really break down the niches, it's like comes back to the same categories.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's also the other thing is most of the videos that go viral are a very strong personal opinion. Like it's, you know, the more opinions you have about things, the more you tend to get views. And that's, you know, so like when we're working with a client, when it's like, okay, you know, and for us, usually the first 90 days is like life changing for the client, because that's when like, you know, when they usually bring us in, or like when they're like, hey, Ryan, we want to hire you and your team to take over a short form. I look at their old stuff and I'm like, well, we can't use any of this because you wouldn't be hiring me if this was working. Like, you know, because so I have to look at the client and go, okay, what doesn't the internet know about you, and how do we get it out of you? Like, and that's where you see a lot of the questions. Like, I mean, you know, we started working with, you know, Elena Cardone after like 2 years of working with Grant. We started with Elena, and I'm like, and I also am very abrasive. I'm just not afraid to ask questions, and it's kind of become like part of my brand. Like the third or fourth video we filmed with Elena was like, so how often do you and Grant have sex? Like, and I understand how wildly inappropriate that is in that context, but I'm like, and she just answered, and I was like, wow. So it's like I've also gotten bolder, like when we're working with the clients, to like, well, like show me your bank account, dude. Nobody fucking believes you're that rich. Like you know, like I don't even believe it, and I've been working with you a year, and you've been paying me $10,000 a month. Like what do you actually do? Like that's to the point. Like even like we work with Chris Crone, like the internet hates the guy. Like so to prove that, and like we do a lot of things that I feel like, you know, I know like Gary Vee and like Hermosa, they all like just do the scale the unscalable. Like I was like, man, it's kind of our responsibility working with Chris that none of these the internet kind of hates a lot of these videos that were mega viral because of me. Like I asked these questions and he delivered it, and we put it in that way. So like we flew to Utah and spent all day with him. I woke up at 4. I did his 5-hour morning routine. Like I sat in this couch while him and his wife had their sexy time. You know, it's like we just started doing that to like, you know, because I know that that's hard to do, you know. So it's like, and I would urge you guys, like when you're like, it's always the hardest content to get that's the best, like, or the hardest question to ask that does the best, like so that's, you know, that to me that's like what virality is. It's like, what can we ask you, like what is everybody thinking, like that you're not saying, and then is that right or wrong, can we prove it or can we not prove it? And that's like how the virality like started,
Good.
like
Good.
in my opinion.
It's good. We're gonna open up to questions from people. We have 6 people in line right now.
Oh,
I'll just call Ian. This is about them. I want to see what questions I got. Ian, go.
Sweet. Ryan, thank you for being here.
no problem.
Dropping a lot of gold. So you mentioned something earlier on about how you started in TikTok in 2020, and it was a lot easier to go viral and build a big audience then. So this is kind of like a multi-parted question. So do you believe that trend is going to continue, that going viral, building an audience on these social media platforms is only going to continue to get more saturated and challenging? And if so, how are you planning on adapting, improving your strategy to account for that and continue to provide a high level quality of service for your clients?
Yeah, I mean, I would say yes. I still think we live in an incredible time. Like, is it more saturated? Yes, 100%. Like, there's no lie. But right now we're seeing it happen. Like, the interesting people rise to the top. And now that's not saying that I believe everybody's interesting. Like, and I do believe, one of my closest friends is Elliot Hulse, and like he's a longtime YouTuber, like one of the OG, like, and all he did was answer people's questions. But he created a character. Like, I believe everybody has a character. They just need to amplify that character and put it on the internet. Like, I don't believe in being somebody that you're not, but there's certain qualities about me that are significantly elevated right now, even on this call, than they will be when I walk out this door to go have dinner with my fiance and daughter. Like, and I think that that's, understanding that and like leaning into that, I think is where most people falter. So, to answer your question, yes, like it's becoming more personal. Like, you're seeing it. Like, I mean, one of the girls that works for me, she was saying that she coaches like volleyball, and they are miking themselves up, 14-year-old girls, to play volleyball, and they're having their friends record them from the sidelines with $15 TikTok shop mics, and then they're posting these on TikTok. Like, all it is out of that, if there are 100 people do it, there's probably 2 girls that are going to go like this just because they are more charismatic, say some dumb shit, aren't afraid to leave their opinion. So, like, the more you can get used to doing that, yes, like, you will rise, like, you can grow. And I still think TikTok is the best place to grow. They still hand out virality more than anybody else, in my opinion. Same thing, and I mean, Instagram is always trying to follow suit. So, like, you can still go viral on Instagram. I do think followers is a challenge, though, and I don't really have a good answer, like, as far as like what to, I know how to keep getting views, so that's what I continue to do. If followers are a byproduct of that, then cool. But I will continually try to make myself get views, so I'm on top of mind, for that. And that's the same pitch I say to clients. Like, and I learned that from Adley Stump when we first started working with her. She was the first client, because like all your clients are probably like, well, I'm not growing, I don't have any followers. She was like the first person I ever said I would make reports, and I'd send her the report every month of like her follower growth. It was crazy follower growth. Like, this is like early TikTok days. And she'd be like, just how many views did we get around? I don't need to read this shit. How many views? How many views? How many views? And I was like, why don't you care about followers? And she's like, because you can't have views without followers. Like, you get views, you gain followers. Like, followers are a byproduct of views. Like, they don't, you can't just get a lot of followers without getting views. So, and that was like a mindset shift. That's what we continue to, that's how I pitch the clients. I said, if we get followers, cool, but I'd rather you get 1 million views a week. Like, but yes, it is harder now. Like, editing styles are changing. People are making it more complicated, but at the end of the day, it's just the same people keep getting the views. And then every once in a while, like a Sam Sulek comes along, changes the game for everybody. But if you strip Sam Sulek down to, he's a genetic freak who's on a lot of steroids, talking about what he does every day. So unless you're a genetic freak on a lot of steroids, you might have to edit your videos better. So it's like, I think it's also just being aware of like, okay, these are my strengths, these are his strengths, where do we fall? So I hope that answers your question. I know it's like long-winded.
Yeah, just like more personalizing your content. Yeah, and just focusing on who you are as an individual and pulling that out is just always a strategy.
Or do steroids.
Yeah, or do steroids. Yeah. So but it's also too like I just think it's like all the shit that like you have the strongest opinions on, everybody just holds that shit back. Like if you let that out and start crafting more opinions about things, like, yes, you are gonna make people mad, but on the byproduct, you're gonna make a lot of people happy and they're gonna like you. So it's
Yeah.
like it's, but you won't see the happy. I promise you that. You'll only see the mean.
Remy, what do you got, bro?
What's up, Doc? Can you hear me fine? Okay.
Got you.
Yeah, man.
Cool. All right. So I want to ask a question that's probably going to be more beneficial from like an agency perspective for everybody here than maybe for me and my personal agency. I'm going to send this message in there. So I really would love for you to talk a little bit more, Ryan, about what are the real differentiators between the greatest agencies and teams that are able to work with these high-end clients and the rest of the competition. And I think that what I've gathered so far from you and from a call we did last week with Sam Goddett, who's the creative director for Dan Martell, is from your side as an agency, some of the things that you guys are great at is one, your ability to pry great topics and push the conversation, invoke the emotion that brings the conviction and tonality, and the ability to generate great hooks. And then for the client, it's conviction and tonality and their unique perspectives in their industry. Is there anything that I didn't say that you would add to this that really separates the competition to where if we can understand this as an agency and we plan for that or we focus on those things, not editing techniques and the graphics and animation, because I've learned that that's all fluff because it really does come down to the topic and like how unique your perspective is. Because I've had viral videos with no graphics because the topic is actually huge. So like with that, like what else is there that you would add to this list that really sets people apart?
Yeah, I would say this is not, so I'm notoriously good at making things really hard to scale, like for myself and the business. I think one of the only differentiators that like I would have against anyone on this call is just my brand. I've since I started TikTok, I always treated myself as like a paying client. I have to talk about myself, and I feel like that's always something that I even when I had 20,000 followers and I was like growing, I was still showcasing my videos to pitch clients. Like, this is what I'm doing here. This is why I'm doing here. And it created this sense of like, if you guys are closing like dentist office or realtors, if you're bigger than them and you have a bigger personal brand, the pitch is easier. Like, they already respect you. Now, does that make it really hard? Like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to sell my agency. I probably won't, because you cannot separate Ryan Magin from viral edits. Like the clients don't want to talk. Like, I have a great team, like 15 people. They all know more than me. I don't even know how to work the drive folders half the time. Like, but the clients, nothing matters unless Ryan sends a text. Like, they could talk to Luis. Luis is the one that helps me with my videos. He knows more, like Sav, she's here editing. She edits a shit ton better than me. Her edits are beautiful. But the clients, they don't know, Ryan, what do you think about this? So like, while that is like an infrastructural nightmare from a scaling perspective of an agency, I don't know that, like, the way the internet's moving, I think more personal brands are going to separate, and that is the only differentiator, because you can't compete on editing, because there'll always be a Pakistani guy who'll do it for cheaper, right? Or an Indian. They'll do it for $2, because $2 to them is 200, So you can't compete on edits. You can't compete on quality of edits. It's hard to compete on consistency, even though that's just because it's already expected, So what are you competing on? Like, it's performance. And then even if you're providing performance, how do you keep charging more? It's like, well, I'm performance and I'm a brand, and that, like, it became like the 10K, like the clients just started asking, what does that include, Ryan? Will you film videos with me at the end? So now I became attached. Like, I know somebody asked earlier, like, I work with a company called Epic Dental. They're a gum company. Like, I might as well be a face of the brand, because every video that's gone viral has me in it asking them questions. I'm not a percent of that brand. Like, they're a paying client. They pay $8,000 a month. But, they don't want to work. They're like, I could send my team to them. They're like, nope, Ryan, just let me know when you're feeling better. We want you. Like, so it's like, I don't know if that's like, I don't know if it's the greatest answer, because it's not for scalability reasons. And people do want to, I understand, like, I know, awesome. Like, you sold an agency, like, you stepped away. Like, I don't know that model relies on a high churn for most cases, where the quality dips and the high churn comes in. Like, I have an incredible retention and a really huge lifetime value. I have zero problems getting clients. I have capacity problems. I can't just bring people on. Like, we have infrastructure, like, for the quality of videos and to keep the quality that high. So it's, either way you go, it's like, you go high churn, high scalability. Where it's like me, it's like I have slow scalability, but I have huge lifetime value. So it's like I don't. But the only differentiator, I think, because I mean, all of you guys have probably, like, when you go to hire an editor, or if you're even an editor on here, like when you go to hire, what's the first thing you do? You look at their Instagram. You know, if Hayden Hillier Smith hit you up to edit your videos, you'd probably hire him over me because Hayden's bigger than me. You know, you don't even care about price at this point. You're just like, I trust him because he's bigger than me. And I think I think every industry is going to kind of fall into that. And I mean, as an agency owner, like, I think it's very, you know, I know we were talking about growth earlier. I think it's the easiest way to grow is with collaborations. Like, nobody's growing on Instagram alone. Like, they're doing collabs, you know, like, so you guys work with clients. You just get in videos with them. Like, and like, that's all I did. And that, like, that came out of necessity too, because we were so performance driven. Like, people don't realize this, but Onyx Singal was an earlier client of mine. He was like fried. We filmed like 50 videos, and I was like, bro, we got to film like 50 more. Like, I'm not leaving without 100 because I don't want to come back to Maryland anytime soon. You know, so we did 50 videos, like me and him, like, and then those became collabs. And then his videos grew, my brand, and then I just started doing it like with every client. And the clients were accepting of it because it wasn't like a douchey thing. We would still do like 100 videos of just them. And I'm like, hey, can we hop in? Like, I got like 10, 15 questions I want to ask you. And I will say, because I mean, we do manually posting, so we were controlling the accounts, so we were accepting the collabs. And you know, but the clients they're like, dude, Ryan, we got to do more videos when you come back. Like, now, like, I go film with Chris Crone, like, we just plan a whole day of me and him talking, like, walking around, like, and that's his content and my content, you know. So I mean, that's how I would tell you guys to grow as you're working with these clients, like, you know. And they don't always have to be bigger. It's like you're just building your reach one by one as you do this. But that requires you to film with people, which is also not the easiest thing to do, and also definitely not good for mental health and sanity. You know, or good if you have a family.
Hey, Yush, what do we got, bro?
What's going on? Hey, Ryan, thanks again for all this info. It's actually, you know, mind-blowing me for a lot of stuff that for Austin, from a lot of questions I've asked him. It's like, I'm sure he's thinking the same thing, like, oh, I'm getting a lot of value as much as everyone else is. So really appreciate it. I'm gonna try, like, I have a couple of questions, but I want to phrase them in a way where it'll help everybody. Just to kind of go back, ironically, to the questions, or like the steroid topic, ironically. So all my clientele is actually the bodybuilding community, where like some of my clients are like top 3 Mr. Olympia. Like, that's my main demographic: fitness, bodybuilding. And so pretty much, like, a couple of questions is like, I feel like I cracked the formula that you've been kind of like talking about, where it's like controversial and all that. So I've had the same client, he had a lawsuit and he had a TRT company. So no other like TRT clinic like him is showing the injections, steroids. Keep in mind, his personal brand, bodybuilding. So we talk about the illegal steroids on the personal brand, and then on the TRT business, we keep it for the legal stuff. So when he had his first company with me, I blew him up. I accidentally, not realizing, with the injection video. No one else was doing it. Then lawsuit happened. 1 month later, he said, let's do it again. I blew him up faster because I had that idea, but now he's gone viral even further. So now I'm like, oh shit, I think I cracked the code for TRT clinics. You have to just be really abrasive, willing to show the injections, steroids. So I hit it. But what I've noticed for clients that are just regular fitness people, it's interesting because I can't get them to go viral, like, at all, not even like 100K views even. So I guess like a good question to ask would be, like, for a more broad, is like, what's like, how would you suggest us to like get our client to go viral for the first time? Like, because I know you said pick topics that are more broad and stuff. I'm trying to go through TikTok to find like what's gone viral recently, specifically in the fitness niche.
Mhm.
Like, but it's interesting how sometimes I know it's like a trial and error, but like even copying a video from start to finish doesn't sometimes
Mhm.
hit.
Yeah, no, I always like I've kind of lived my life by the principle like I mean fitness is one of the most saturated niches. I mean anybody with a good physique calls himself a fitness coach now.
Yeah.
Like and then they film in their workouts and their coaches and they sell online trainings. So like when everybody's doing that, it's like I would just say, what else does your fitness client know? Like, if we saw Arnold, like, if would you watch a video of Arnold Schwarzenegger like in his prime teaching you how to balance your checkbook? Like I would, like like what cars do they buy? Like it's like you got to get away from the fitness to go viral, and then that draws more people back into the fitness. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but like if this guy's jacked, like I mean, like you should have him go to like car dealerships and sit in really small cars, and like here's what it's like to drive a Prius as a 300-pound bodybuilder on steroids. Like you
Oh,
know, here's 300-pound bodybuilder rides a bike for the second time. Like shit like that. Like it's take the go outside of the fitness, but always reference that he's like a 280-pound bodybuilder on steroids.
oh,
Like
yeah.
so it's like there's always fitness, but it's everything else. Because I think that you're just being gatekeeped by it's just like I mean, how many ways can you show an injection? There's like I do TRT. There's only a few. Like how many ways can you talk about a workout program? There's only a few. Like unless you go extreme like a Juji Mufu, and then you create like or what's the Liver King for that matter. Like that's there's that spectrum, but that's not scalable. I mean, how long did it last for Liver King? So it's like, there's I would just look outside of like, he probably has a lot of opinions about other stuff, and he's very he's disciplined as well because he's a bodybuilder. So those qualities probably portray into other areas of his life. Like, and I would talk about I would that's like if I were to come into somebody like that, that's what I would be looking at. You know, because like I mean, if you take a Hermosi for example, like Hermosi doesn't make fitness content, but would you trust him to give fitness advice?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Got
know,
it.
I mean,
Got
that was one of his most polarizing characteristics. Who's this jack guy giving me business advice?
it. Hmm.
Like it's a polar opposite. Like, and that's it's just again the fitness for him is probably easiest to do. And there is that transition of like he's gonna make a video like that, and his initial audience is probably gonna push back. They're probably gonna comment, like stick to bodybuilding videos, dumbass. Like,
Hmm.
if he can get over that mental hurdle, then that's where the fun happens.
Um, so again, I guess second question, kind of like tailing off of that, is like, when would you suggest someone to just start a new account? Because I had a couple of my like fitness business coaches, like
Mhm.
they got a shit ton of money now that they're trying to be a fitness coach, business fitness coach, and then they just decide to buy followers and stuff. And I think they jacked it up, and I could see it within their analytics, like it looks really bad. And so I can tell their new page when I just told them just to make a different account and just let's just try it. It's performing way better view wise. And so do you think it's best to keep doing it that way, transition, or?
Yeah, the only way I would tell you not to create a new account is if there's like brand recognition on the account, then you're kind of fucked. Like you have to hold on to it. But if there's not, what we do is like if we have an account that's not performing, we'll post to both accounts, but we'll start the secondary account and we'll post them side by side. And usually, in most cases, one will outperform the other. So we'll be able to be like, hey, look, your videos are performing better on the new account. So like, and then it'll be like, let's post a couple videos here, post the rest of them here until it's like, you can build the account back up to size. You know, but again, it's like it's hard to quantify like the importance of an account now when you look at like the Tates, the Luke Belmars, like these guys don't even have accounts, but like they're everywhere. And that's like I know somebody mentioned like media scaling, like the side account strategy, like it's a valid thing. But like I just like from experience, like I mean, I don't want to call it everybody, but everybody that's a big account on the internet that you guys follow has bought fake shit. Like that's like it's in my like initial call with them. Like, how much of this is fake? I need to know. Like, and it's rare to find someone who isn't. Like because it's like they inflate to a point and then organic takes over. So it's like it is kind of a dirty game, that. But like most people in your case, they do it wrong. They'll buy like 100,000 followers like on day one. It's like, okay, like have you can't even cheat properly. Like Jesus, like how much do you buy 10,000 every other month? And so it looks normal on the cheat scale. Like, so it's like, but I would just do them side by side and compare, because we do that if like we think accounts are like, I'm not a huge believer in shadow banning, but sometimes accounts get flagged for like the wrong shit. So it's like we'll run an account side by side and see which one outperforms, and then just go all in on that account.
Got it. My last question is, so for us agency owners, I know like we all have like kind of like a niche. At least I am like, once again, like a bodybuilder too personally, and fitness clients are my main demographic. So for like us to go viral on our own personals, would you suggest like same thing like how you said, like for me, like I should make like a video where I get into like a small car and I can barely like fit, because I'm also 6'4".
Yeah, yeah, I have a hard time like telling people to do stuff that I've never done. So it's like I just, I try shit all the time like that. I mean, to a point, there is like, and I want to say that like, you know, I do lose money because like my account doesn't have a singular focus. Like, but in my, I don't know that I want to be an agency owner forever. So it's like I'm kind of on the long term aspect of that. It's like I still just want to build my personal brand. Like I have a lot of facets I feel like I can, entertain the world with, and opinions like that aren't just like, yes, I happen to be talking to you guys. Like I'm really good at running this agency and I figured a lot of shit out. Like, but when I make these videos on the internet, they do horrible. Like to the point where like, so even if I wanted to, like I would probably lose clients if my views tanked significantly. They would lose trust in me. So it's like I do like, I've kind of said, okay, I'm gonna lose a little bit of money. If I was trying to just specifically get agency clients, I would be just focusing on local, to be honest. It's like, in my opinion, personal brands are so hard to deal with, as I'm sure you know. Like working with people, I would literally just own my local town. Like I would start a studio. Like I'm probably gonna do it on the side because I am burnt out on the personal brand side of like, so it's like I built a studio so I can have people come in and we do filming days, and it's just like, and I can charge, 3-4K. You come in for 4 hours, my team edits your videos and you're done. Like, so it's like, it's hard because it's like, but for me, it's like, I just want to build it. Like, I want to be the client. So it's like, what are the videos the client's making? I need to make videos like that in my own way, and like I want to hire myself for 10K a month, and how do I do that? I got to become the client, so how would I grow a client? Well, I got to do that myself. So like I would tell you, like, I mean, for you, I don't know if I would do that. I mean, I would do videos with your clients. Like, I mean, like I think a lot of like, there's such an inherent value into that, and I think it's like agency owners specifically are sleeping on that. Like you guys are with, especially if you're filming with them, you're with them. Like they trust you. Like, of course, like I told Sam to do this with Dan Martell, and look, he's starting to do it. I'm like, Sam, get in the videos with him and ask him the questions. Stop, like, it makes for a more engaging video. So like, if you have all these bodybuilder friends and clients, then yes, like work out with them. Like, talk about business while you're working out. Like, talk, that, like, I would just go those angles, like, and then see what works there.
You're not saying like
Evan, what do we got, bro? We got to move along, Ayush. Sorry, bro. Evan, what do we got?
Hey guys. Hey Ryan, nice meeting you, man. Been dropping
too, man.
some absolute fire today. You
Thank you.
kind of answered my question with the last guy, but it's a little bit different. I'm about to go hard, starting to build out my personal brand. I have a current account. It's like my personal account only has 3,000 followers. I'm debating whether I should just start a new account. Maybe like 10% of my current followers are in my target audience. I'm debating whether I should just start a new account. It's going to be more business content, but also lifestyle, kind of growing, scaling businesses. Does it make sense to start a new one, or just kind of maybe post on both and kind of see what kind of takes off from there?
Yeah, I mean, at 3,000 followers, I wouldn't be attached to it. Like, if you had like 30, I'd be like, okay, like 3,000, like that's a good video, and you're gonna gain all that back. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like, if you want to start fresh, I would tell you to start fresh. Like, we live like, there's not, like, with 3,000 followers, like there's not enough brand recognition to where I would think like you're gonna harm yourself. I would still keep it. I wouldn't delete the account. But leave it there. and then point traffic, like make a video saying I started a new account. So like if people do find that one, like it's easy for them to transition over.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I wouldn't be married to that if it was $3,000.
Yeah, for sure. That just has old friends, just travel friends, like not business associates whatsoever. So yeah,
I also think
sense.
it probably won't matter, to the if you're just gonna start posting. Like, I mean, whatever's gonna make you post more, I would do. Like, if it's exciting, new account, then do the new account. If it's the other one, then just do that one.
Yeah, cool, man. Appreciate it.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Mr. Yoon from Bali, let's hear it.
Right. Hey Ryan, thanks for being here. What
No
you're
problem.
dropping here is fucking gold, and you're sharing everything. I love it, man. So, my question is, so what I am niching down on is creating short form content for podcasts, and for that to happen, I have to do a lot of clip reordering so that everything is impactful, everything is like engaging, and I'm having a difficult time finding somebody who has that EQ, understanding the audience's perspectives. That's very difficult to do for hiring. How do you go about it? What is your process on finding someone who has that EQ?
Yeah. So you're trying to find unicorns. It's very hard. And so I have your best timestamper, like it's Clippers timestampers. So I guess Clippers is like the new word the industry is coined for that. Like it takes a special person. I have found that like on a video editing perspective, the best editors can clip and edit their own stuff. Like some of my best timestampers are like two of my best editors. They don't timestamp as much because they oversee all the edits. So like what I would urge you to do is like, and you might not be in a place where like we have separated the roles completely. So like I have clippers and I have editors, and the editors' job is like the clippers, we call them media managers. They give them perfect files to edit. So the editing is super streamlined. And I don't want them choosing hooks. I don't want them choosing structure. Like give them basically a half edited video. The the folks that I have two right now that do that specifically, like one is significantly better than the other, and they were good editors as well. So like they had edited viral videos. It's very hard, and like, you're seeing this at scale right now. And I have a lot of theories on like like podcasting and like content as a whole. Like it's really hard. Like your best options, but it's hard to hire them, are like the people that have the motivation accounts, the ones that are starting the faceless accounts that are going viral, but now they're making all the money from the TikTok Creativity Fund. So unless you could come in and pay them more than they're making with the Creativity Fund, they're probably not going to work for you. So that it's very hard. Like again, this is where like I do rely a lot on my personal brand. People just kind of want to come be a part of like my ecosystem, and like I have people that they have made those accounts. So like that, I would reach out to people, and I've found like incentive, like everybody in my company is in some way, shape, or form incentivized for virality. The timestampers, like we pay, well, the media manager position is a $4,000 to $6,000 a month position, and essentially it's clipping, managing files. Because we come back, we usually have 2 or 3 cameras with hundreds of videos. So like they organize it all and then send it to the team, and I train them. We do a weekly training with them, like because if I'm filming it or me and Luis are filming it, we have to make sure that they're keeping the vision intact so the edits perform. So like, and I do daily trainings. Like I do a week, like a Monday, like all team training, it's 1 hour. And then every day when I'm in town, I do a 15-minute training with the whole team. And all we do is break apart viral videos and like look at, or we clip things, like, because I believe everybody should have the skill sets. And then we do once a week with just the media managers going over like, hey, like why'd you organize it this way? So it's like, I do think it's trainable, because and this kind of helps everybody if you're clipping podcasts. All you got to listen for is when the tonality and conviction increases. Those are your hooks. When somebody gets excited, there's where the video starts, and can you build a video around that? There's your viral clip. Like the only problem is did the podcast person on the podcast say a complete clip? Because most podcast people just fucking trail off and talk about something else, and I'm like, no, you didn't finish that. So that's what I would like. It is trainable, and I think you'd be better off training somebody, but finding the motivational accounts. Like I call them like your best editors are what I consider like failed creators. And I say that not to degrade the creators, but it's like Savannah, she's one of my best editors. She basically makes 6 figures for my company. She was a YouTuber before working for me. She was in the skateboarding niche. There's not a whole lot of money in that niche. She wasn't making any money. She didn't want to go get a job. I was able to give her enough to where she didn't need to go get a job. And then she's grown ever since. Like those are your best editors. Like, and I've just found that the new wave of short form editors are fucking terrible because everybody started editing during COVID and all they learned how to do was the Hermosi reel and call themselves video editors. They're, and that means all they can do is subtitles. So I've started to treat my editors like subtitles. Your media managers or clippers, they're your fucking editors. You know, and that was hard for me because I've always been an advocate for video editors. I'm like, oh, the slaves of the world, you know, like, but the more I've owned a company and trained and hired and like, I'm like, plus I think editors have a shelf life. I know that that's like, you know, I have like what I would consider the best team. They've been with like over 2 years, but their videos are starting to go to shit because they're burnt out. Like, so I treating them like athletes need an off season. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm doing that good yet. Like, so I don't have like good, but like, I do think that that's a real, like your clippers, they're going to start being robots. Like your editors are robots. Like, and it's like, you know, once you tear an ACL, you might not come back, you know? Yeah. So it's like, that's just something that we've seen because I've been doing this now almost 3 years, and to sustain the quality has been a significant challenge because the clients don't care because the machine never shuts off. Like, they're like, yeah, Ryan, why is my video for me shitty? Like, I need, you know, like, you know, what's wrong with your team? I'm like, well, maybe it's you. You spoke really crappy on that podcast, bro. Like, you know, so it's like these are things that like, you know, but with clippers, I would train them every day and focus on tonality and conviction. That's what we do.
Beautiful. If I may ask another short question, this can be answered short, like in a short way, I think. So, do you have a warm-up process for new accounts? So, the other guy mentioned that he wants to create a new account. Media scaling, they create a bunch of accounts and they have like a warm-up process for it. When I try it, I always keep getting 0 views, you know, flagged as like spam accounts. And I wonder how you navigate around that.
Yeah, I mean, I try to think about everything like I was just a normal person. And would a normal person warm up an account? Or if I was like a regular person, I'm like, I want to make TikTok videos. I'm going to make an account and I'm going to post a video. That's what a normal person does. So I try to just live by that. I do. Do I think there's merit in some of that? Yes. I mean, but I mean, some accounts seem to do better right off the bat. Like we usually post like 10 to 15 videos. And if it's doing really shitty, we'll just start another account. I don't believe like, you know, the going in and commenting, I guess that would be a thing. Maybe I don't know, but I don't have the manpower to do that. So I don't even offer it. Like, so that's kind of, you know, do I think it's probably valid? Yes. But like, I've never done any of that. And like, but a lot of the clients we work with, like we're not starting new accounts. Like they're already very well established. So I know I share like not everybody has that luxury. But you know, we've started side accounts the same way. Like I run an account called the Health Geek. We started it from 0. It's at 100K on TikTok and Instagram. It's a health account. Like we didn't start multiple accounts. We just started one account and started posting videos. So I mean, I think in a lot of instances, everybody tries to be too smart. And I think this is a case where people are just trying to outsmart what doesn't need to be outsmarted.
David, what we got, bro? 2 more questions. We're going to wrap this thing up in 5 minutes. Can you do that, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Like I said, I can go a little. I'm not in any rush.
Okay.
Cool.
5 minutes.
This is a question more so on the offer side. So when you get clients, I think you have the luxury or the advantage that you have a personal brand and people are ready to sign up because they see your progress, they see your views and the likes that you're getting and all that. For someone that is like a newer account or a newer agency and they don't have that personal brand, like being in all the videos, like when it comes to your offer, are you just staying away completely on like, hey, I'm going to help you convert? Like, are you qualifying your clients? Like, hey, you got to figure out all the monetization yourself, especially since all the attention is going towards views and not so much followers. Like it almost seems like followers don't matter as much. Are you helping your clients figure out a way to monetize the views, or are you just already qualifying them ahead of time and say, hey, you got to figure out that on your own? And I'm just here to get you views, and you got to figure out the monetization.
Yeah, I mean, I only focus on attention like that, and I had to distinguish that early on, mainly because like when we start doing well for clients and the views start ramping up, like we're attached to their dopamine. Like the last thing I want to be is attached to their dopamine and their bank account. You know, because it's already enough to like deal with clients' mood swings on whether the biz are performing good or bad. So like I just made the decision early on that I wanted to only work, and the criteria for like most of us is like I don't really do it on based on a follower count. It's like, have you filmed a minimum of like 100 videos? Because then you can talk well enough, and that could be 100 YouTube videos, 100 short form videos, but it's like there's an actual effort. And then have you been on a lot of podcasts, or like are you actively going on podcasts? Because I found that they just speak better. So that's the qualification, like for like who I work with. But then for you, like it's just like like there's a lot of ways that we could integrate. Like I mean, I know how to use ManyChat, so it's like that would be an easy way to integrate that. Like I'd probably lose a shit ton of money by not doing that for some of my clients, but it's also I would have to build out an entire new arm to the company to even make that work, and I'm probably going to do a half-ass job. You know, like I've just had to get very clear on like I only want to like I won't entertain it if you like it's just not going to be a good fit. We're going to fail each other, and basically you're just not going to be able to afford me at some point, and then you're going to be mad at me because I charged you a premium. So I mean, if you're dealing with that, like when you're talking to clients, like I would just be clear, like I've just found that most of the smaller clients they tend to hate the retainers. So like when I was doing stuff, I tried a lot of different packages. I found that like the bigger packages, like let's do 90 days up front, like we're gonna do 90 videos, like this costs, I mean I think we charge on average like $100 a video, like what the client pays, because it's like 6K for two videos a day, so it's like 100, so like I would do packages like that because it's easier to sell. And then for us, it's like and even for you, like the second you get a client to go viral, like everything changes after that, you know. And I do have the luxury, like a lot of the clients, like are they selling something? Are they selling enough of it that they can afford me? And this is just I asked two questions, like how much revenue does your company do? And I found that the people that can afford 10,000 a month are doing a minimum of 100,000 a month or more. For the ones that pay $6,000 a month, they're between 40 to 60,000 per month ish. Like so, because and I don't think people pay attention to this enough, or there's not a spoken like respect to it. But like if you're charging 10,000 a month to have a client for a year, that's $120,000. That's like two full-time in-house employees for that one for my fee. So it's like same with like a $6,000 month. That's like $70,000 a year. Like they could get somebody full time for that. So you have to be better than the full time. But I mean, I would just be clear. Like it's just if they're if they don't have the monetization, then they're going to be a little higher churn. I would probably say don't go retainer, go a little higher up front, and then focus on getting them results the same way you would somebody else. But again, it's like if they are asking for the help, it's like you're either going to have to build that, and it's going to be a long, slow process, or they're not going to be able to afford you. So
Appreciate
like,
it.
I have a girl in my coaching group. She sells like it's $4,500. She does like 60 videos, and she does a 1 day filming, and she's doing like 40 to 50,000 a month right now. She just hired like her second editor. Like I think it's the best offer ever. Like she doesn't post videos for anybody. She does like a 6 hour filming session, and she said she's tried different price points, and it's all local in Philadelphia. Like, and I mean that excites me. I'm like, oh, that sounds so much easier than what I do.
Josh, what do we got, bro? Last question, and we're gonna get this show on the road.
Hi, Ryan. Yeah, thanks for everything. My question is, let's say you have a client who you're making videos like or posting videos 2 times per day. What's a healthy expectation that you set for the client? And the second question will be for local businesses. What are some strategies that you recommend to get more views on the local level?
Well, I mean, the expectations on the 2 videos a day, like we base everything like, so I look at the analytics, like we have to have access to the analytics. We need to be able to see where the account started, and we're always, as long as we're in the green, like we're essentially hitting our expectations. I usually tell them like for the first 90 days, I do a 90-day contract for the first 90 days. And that's like, I don't want you to leave. Like I need 90 days to figure out your account. So like I'm very clear on that. It could take us 89 days before we get a video that hits. And like, so we need that runway. I've only had 1 or 2 instances where we didn't like make an account grow in the first 90 days. One was because of the client, and the other one was he went viral for wrong. He didn't want to continue that path because it was more personal brand. And he didn't want to do that anymore. That the 90-day runway is like our biggest thing. And then once we get through that, then it's, we go to a month. And I just say, if you're not happy with the services at any time, you can cancel. Like, I'm not locking anybody into a contract. And I found that that crushed. I've never had anybody complain. I never really had anybody walk away from a contract. But usually it's like, if the client's only posting once a day and we go to 2 times a day, they just double their views. So the expectation, it's like an instant win. And then we go for I consider and this is what I do have high standards. We consider a healthy TikTok is 1 million views a week. If our clients aren't hitting that, then we need to we talk to the client, we tell them what's going on. And I've also not shied away from the conversations with the client, because it's I'd rather not hide. If their account isn't doing good, I'm the first one to tell them it's not doing good, but then I also always have a solution. But here's what we're doing to fix this, and then that's always, managed it well to where and most of the clients do understand there's ebbs and flows. There's good months, there's bad months. So it's again, I do know that I'm very fortunate with the level of client. It's I know a lot of people but I feel like the dopamine swings are bigger at the higher level. So that's, I just and again, this is where if a client's account is down, it's generally my account is down too. So I always say, well, yeah, my videos are shit in the bed too, man. I get it. Right. So it's I throw that out there every single time, more so than I probably should. And that's how I would do that. And then what was the second part of your question?
On a for the local businesses, how do you get more views on local level?
Yeah, I would do more geographical based videos. I know Gary Vee kind of said this, if you're a realtor, just start trying all the local restaurants and all the local stuff. Be like the tour guide in your city. I think that's awesome. I tried a coffee from every coffee shop in St. Petersburg. I think that would be a great video. You could do that every day, and you just have to be a realtor in St. Petersburg. I think there's a lot of ways to do that. Just talk more about the town, less about what they do.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem.
Ryan, that's all we got, man.
Awesome.
Appreciate you.
That was great.
Appreciate you coming on. We'll drop your IG in the group. Everybody should go follow Ryan, show him some love, give him a big thank you for investing 1 hour and 15 minutes into you guys. Hope you guys got some value from it. Ryan, anything, parting words, anything to leave with?
No. I mean, just keep making good videos.
I feel like her.
Yeah, that's it.
That's dope.